for our community. And so, good morning, everyone. It's such a privilege to be here sitting alongside our community activists, our elected officials at the county who are championing this issue. And I come here with a very heavy heart because this is Orange County. This is a county that has navigated a service-driven economy for as long as I have called this community home, knowing that there are economic struggles that our families experience because of the disparities between our dominant wages and the cost of living. And now we're at this breaking point where if we don't act, we are going to see our families who call Central Florida home be pushed out. And we saw this, as Commissioner Bonilla said, in 2018, in 2020. I remember knocking on doors right off in the Curry 4 area in my district at the apartments there with families telling me that they're not going to afford to live here anymore. They're looking at Brevard County, Lake County, because even living in Curry 4 in a part that's off downtown was getting too expensive. When I look at this report that was commissioned by the county, we have so many concerns with form and format. I'm going to read one quick paragraph about the research methods, and I do this as a PhD student who is doing my own research, publishing my own papers. Towards those ends, GAA completed several research and analytical tasks. These included a confirmation analysis of pertinent housing market data, a confirmation analysis of selected social welfare indicators, a review of academic literature addressing similar rent control or stabilization strategies, and a review of existing programs and their reported outcomes. No person was talked to, no tenant was researched, no hotels were visited to understand why are you living in a hotel room, what got you here. No cars were looked at near Coalition for the Homeless, where people are living out of their cars to understand what was your journey. That is called qualitative data. And it is something that at our office, we get anecdotally a lot. And every time someone contacts my office about a rent increase, 30, 40, 50%, the first question they have for me is, Rep. Eskamani, how is this legal? I just got a direct message on Twitter from a grad student at UCF whose rent is going up by 44%. And she's also an international student who's trying to contribute to our great country while studying UCF. She can only work up to 20 hours a week. As a grad student international, you have restrictions in how much money you can even make in this country. Where is she going to go? She cannot afford to study in Florida, and people cannot afford to live in Florida. And to make this study even more outrageous is it explicitly states that profiteering was not examined. So when we come up here and we're making the point that, hey, people are making money off our communities. There is going to be someone who can afford that 50% increase. It's just not that Floridian. It's someone out of state who can now work remote, who's making a lot more money in New York or California, who loves the weather, who loves the fact that you don't have snow here, and they come to call Florida home, and we welcome you Floridians, but not at the expense of pushing out the folks who build this economy. And for us here locally, one of our major tax revenues is tourism. We have vet tax dollars from that. We have sales tax revenue that pays for infrastructure around the state of Florida. We're a large revenue generator for the entire state. These folks are the backbone of our economy, and yet we don't consider them hometown heroes. They don't qualify for any of the state's new housing programs. The rental assistance available to them is incredibly delayed and COVID specific. And so, what are their options? What options are in front of them? And you don't study profiteering, even though that's been a stated concern by commissioners here and by many of us in the community that rent is not going up because it has to. Rent is going up because they want it to. And I also am a renter myself. I live in Thornton Park, and our rent just went up by $400. And we have a great relationship with our landlord, but it's not like my services are changing. My ice maker still doesn't work. Like, we got tons of issues in our home, and yet our rent is going up. And again, we don't have children, we have roommates, we're gonna figure this out. But that's not the case for many Florida families who are trying to make ends meet every single day and look towards elected officials like us to solve these problems, not ignore them, not deflect them, not delay them. And so in addition to this ordinance, and I really do hope that this study is challenged at its face value, but we also have to consider an array of options that have already been brought up. I emailed the County Commission back in April about a tenants' bill of rights, which Hillsborough and Miami have already done, and that would at least provide some protections for if rent is going up, you have a timeline of a warning. If an eviction happens based on your status of being a family or being pregnant, that there's a delay so you can have time to figure out how to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Also, just cause evictions, you're not being evicted for illegitimate reasons, access to a pro bono attorney. We should be funding civil legal aid for our tenants. So if you are faced with eviction, you have an attorney by your side. These are not controversial ideas. The only people who don't like them are the apartment associations and the property managers, because they want to make it as easy as possible to remove you. And for us, we want to make it as easy as possible to keep you housed. Because there also is a huge economic loss when you are unhoused. It costs us a lot more money to rehouse someone than to help them stay secure today. And so even for a cost-benefit analysis, these programs and efforts that do cost money, but we save money, we reduce crime by keeping people economically secure, we help them stay healthy, we help them be contributing at a job, and so everyone wins when there's housing security. And I hope that is the attitude that my colleagues in the county will hold and will demonstrate today and every day thereafter, especially since it's a campaign season. We're going to remember who stood up for our housing needs and who turned their backs. Thank you so much.